Crypto Hotep here with another trading video. We'll do an analysis of the week ahead as it relates to the crypto markets and how I'm thinking. As always, guys, thank you again for the views, for the subscriptions, much appreciated. And as always, guys, none of this is financial advice that we go through. Please do your own due diligence, especially with crypto. It's very volatile. Please consult a professional if you're thinking about investing in it. But as always, you guys know the Coinbase link at the bottom of the description. If you do want to support the channel, if you appreciate these videos, please, other than liking and subscribing and commenting, feel free to use that Coinbase link at the bottom, even if you have Coinbase. With the Coinbase link, you can actually, you can't make this up. So Friday the 13th is when we're going to get our inflation numbers. That's pretty crazy here. So again, let's look back at the tape here. So last time that we had a reading for CPI was last month on the 13th, okay? And last month on the 13th of January was a reading for December. The consensus was 2.7, and guess what we came out at? 2.7. Not a big deal. Total nothing burger. Now the consensus is 2.5%. I'm not really sure. I don't feel really good about this number. We could get a pleasant surprise where inflation ticked down to 2.4%. I don't really see how that could happen though. If we look at January 2025, the reading at January 2025 was 3%. Okay, and that was an uptick from December 2024 at 2.9%. So if we look at that, if I'm looking at this in guesstimating, if you will, the forecasted number is 2.5%. I think we may get a stronger upside number to maybe 2.6%, which again was less than last reported, but more than the forecasted number. I'd be very surprised if we were at 2.4 or 2.3% inflation. It's just because there hasn't really been any drastic drop in prices anywhere. So I'd be it would surprise me for that. So keep this in mind, because this could drop the markets even further. This inflation number could pose a very, very kind of bad scenario here, okay? So just for giggles, let's see what we got here. So the question here is, what will the January 2026 inflation rate be versus the prior 2.7%? I think we could be less than the 2.7%, but again, that doesn't matter because the markets will be looking at the forecasted number. But I think it'll be below. Nope. It looks like out of 1,000, almost 1,100 votes, 50% think it's going to be above. That wouldn't be good. But we will see. Again, we will see, guys. And that's a week of economic events. Let's head over to CoinMarketCap and let's see what we have for the market overview on the crypto side. So if we hop into Fear and Greed Index, we are back at extreme fear at a level 9. Extreme fear, we were at 8 before. So if we look at this chart here, right? So this chart spanned all the way from July 2023. We are actually lower than the lowest levels that we eclipsed back in November. If you remember, there were no more levels that were lower than this. Well, guess what? We superseded that here, and we came with these levels. I believe this was 5, and this was February 7th. These levels were really low. So extreme fear eclipsed this Fear and Greed Index in the past week to 2 weeks with the big sell-off that has happened. People are kind of like through almost with crypto, and that's usually the time where everything switches, is when everybody's just done, everybody's frustrated, everybody's lost money. Let's go to the Altcoin Season Index. The Altcoin Season Index has pushed further to Bitcoin, which makes sense. People have given up on altcoins somewhat. So more attention is being put on Bitcoin, safe haven. So now Bitcoin season, if you will, is right here, almost in full effect here, right? So again, there's no altcoin season in sight if we look at this chart here, okay? Per this chart, per coin market cap as well, okay? If we, in these, so these are a couple crypto market cycle top indicators. I rarely look at this, but I kind of just scroll this to see if anything's been triggered. And if it's been triggered, a check mark would appear on this triggered side. And nothing is triggered yet. Nothing has triggered. That's why the hopium is still alive and well on my side. If we look at Bitcoin dominance, and we'll go into the charts about this, it is still steadily below 60%. This is what we need. This is what we want, right? And crypto ETFs. Let's look at the inflows and the outflows. The net inflows in February 5th was over 309 million, with 333 million or 330 plus million in BTC, but unfortunately an outflow or a negative of 21 million for ETH. Okay. However, the Bitcoin inflows is very bullish. You love to see it. You love to see this. This was a lot of selling. These past couple days out of February, starting February, has been a lot of selling from BlackRock, primarily, I would say. So a lot of outflows, as you can see here. But we had a nice big spike up on Friday with BTC. That's what we like to see. So one other thing, let's go to liquidations, the liquidation dashboard. So if we look at total liquidations for the past 24 hours, total liquidations has eclipsed over $242 million in shorts and about $106 in longs. Okay, this is actually a pretty good dashboard by CoinMarketCap because it shows the top liquidation events of all time. October 10th, 2025 was Trump threatening the 100% tariffs. That alone liquidated over 19 billion in crypto. That's crazy. This is actually pretty interesting. Let's click into this. The second was rumors of AML crackdowns and mining halts. This was in 2021. Tesla's reversal on Bitcoin payments in China, regulatory pressure. This was also in 2021. That was 9 billion. Huh. That's pretty cool. This is pretty cool. If you get a chance, and CoinMarketCap's a free tool, take a look at this. But as you can see here, Bitcoin's price is the orange line. Liquidations for green are long, and liquidations for red are short. Right? And let's look at the charts now. So if we look at the charts for the crypto markets, if you've been following the channel, I like to look at the stablecoin market first and foremost. And with USDC, it's telling a very telling tale. So currently, we're in the beginning of the week. This is a Sunday that we're recording this video. So this is a Sunday. This is the weekly candle. It looks very bullish. Green, it's of good size here, the candle is, and we're to the upside. However, this was a strong rejection from this level for USDC dominance. Unfortunately, USDC also cleared 2.73, this weekly level right here. It cleared above that. Does that mean that it's going to continue to go up? Look, I'm not sure. I'm just telling you how I will view this. How I view this is USDC dominance is very bullish right now, but keep in mind that this harsh rejection. This is a very harsh rejection here. A very harsh rejection. When you have a long wick on a candle, it's a lot of selling pressure bringing that price down. That's something to keep in mind. So when that happens, that usually perks my ears up because I'm like, okay, there's a harsh selling wall right here. So it's going to take a lot for price to come back and push that through. So what could happen? Well, again, we're at the start of the week. So if you hold altcoins, if you hold Bitcoin, what you would like to see is you want to see a full rejection from this candle and have at least some of it touch this red line here of supply slash resistance. That means that sellers are still in control, and potentially this could go lower. Because what you would like to see is you would like to see price come down. We need price to come down. In addition to that, you have a new weekly demand or support level here at 2.43 that you need to be mindful of. And we are above 50 in the slow stochastic for USDC dominance as well. So we're still somewhat bullish on stable coins, unfortunately. But let's look at USDT, because USDT looks a little bit different than USDC. USDT actually looks better if you're holding Bitcoin and altcoins. Why? Well, not only is there a harsh rejection at these two weekly levels, 8.76 and 8.14, but it didn't clear anything. It hasn't cleared any of these levels here. So there's a bunch of sell pressure here that is defending these two levels. And what you would like, again, is you would like for a nice little maybe dead cat bounce to bring this price up and then just have it flash crash down here. Now, again, one thing that we need to highlight, and I'll highlight this on the fly here, is we have a new demand level. And why is this a demand level? Well, again, if you've followed my channel here and you know how I trade, then you know that a demand level, for us to respect the demand level or notate it, it has to have 3 green candles to the upside before, or after, I should say, a bearish candle to the downside, which is right here. Let's ensure we have the right level, which we do. I like that right there. So your weekly demand level of support, that if this collapses, is here, right here. So what that means in my mind and thought process is, if we reject harshly and stable coins come crashing down, this would be a level of support that price could bounce. Meaning that while it's crashing down, we want to make sure that we know where the price could base and recover, because the stable coin and altcoin market are inverse. So if this is crashing down, my altcoin bags should be pumping. And then once price bases in here, then I should be selling off my altcoin bags, because price potentially could go back up on this stable coin. Okay, let's look at the dollar. Let's look at the dollar here. Dollar is playing games. Okay, so I called this out. This potentially could have been a dead cat bounce, which was, and all the dead cat bounces, price comes up just a little bit. It doesn't get to the level, the weekly key level, and then it comes back down. And that's exactly what it did. It came up, trapped some bulls to say, hey, we're actually going up this time. Nope, psych, and then brought you down here. And then it tapped into this 95.5 level fantastically, but price then for the dollar moved back in to this weekly level. So none of these levels, per my rules, are invalidated. Why is that? Well, because for my rules, you have, for an invalidation to occur, price has to trade below a level or above a level multiple times, at least 2 to 3 times. It didn't do that. It collapsed the level and then it came back into it right here. And then currently, this is the current weekly candle. It's right here. So it's still literally respecting this 97 key level here. And it's funny because people always say technical analysis is all smoke and mirrors, and trading and investing, price is just very random. It's not random. It's not random at all. Price goes to past levels consistently, or Fibonacci levels. So, and this is a prime example. Price came back into this level that it's respected multiple times. Here. I bet if you scrolled out, you could see here as well. Here as well. So price is in this level, just playing some games. But I think this upcoming week, with all those economic events that we saw happen, we could hopefully see a decline. I would like to, if I'm being honest, I would like to see this. I'd be good with this. Come down into this level and then spring back up. Spring back up from this level here. Because again, if the dollar's losing steam, that money's going somewhere else. Right? Let's go to our total three chart, which is just the altcoin market without Bitcoin, without Ethereum. Okay, so as we can see here, we have a new supply level that I drew at 596, almost 600 billion. Okay, and then we have a collapse below this level, this key level of demand / support at around 500 billion. That's a key psychological level as well. And then we also have our demand levels of 395, almost 400 billion, and then 330 billion right here. Okay. So currently, if I'm when I look at this chart, I say, okay, price came down, invalidated this level as of right now, and price currently, that's the key word, currently is sitting below this key level of 501 billion. Okay. As of right now, I don't know what's going to happen in the near future. No one does. No trader or investor does. So I would be waiting on this candle because we're still at the beginning of the week. Anything could happen in 6 days, and price, especially in crypto, this could move back and tap this line right here. If it does do that, then because of my rules, this level is still respected. If it taps into this and just puts a wick in there, oh, this level's still respected. If it doesn't, and we produce another candle, a red candle next week that goes even further, then I'll take this level off. But as of right now, I'm keeping this level on until the end of the week. Okay. We're below 20 in the slow stochastic as well, so the bleeding has to stop somewhere, I would think. Okay. Let's go to the king, which is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently at above 52% drawdown from October 2025's highs. So from here to here, we're at about 52% drawdown. And current price is a little bit, let's call it 71,000 per coin. All right. We have a new supply level here at 93,000, 93.6 right here. And again, price has collapsed below a weekly demand support level of 80,000. So again, very similar to the chart we just looked at total 3, the altcoin market, where we have price collapsing below a key level of demand or support, and the new week candle is currently sitting below it. So what do? We wait. And again, waiting is also a position, right? Sitting in cash, waiting is also a position. You don't want to be too hasty and just blindly buy. You don't want to do that. Because I'll give you a prime example. If you said, hey, I want to buy as soon as price comes into 80,000. Okay, great. You could have bought that. But guess what? You're still losing because here, price is still at 70,000. It totally disrespected this line of demand and support, and it's currently sitting below that. So it would have paid to just wait for a second, or for a week or two, and then see what price does. Because again, if price comes back up, taps into 80,000, then that 80,000 level is respected again, okay, and it's valid. But as of right now, all we're doing is waiting. That's it. That's all we can do with Bitcoin right now. Ethereum's currently at about 2,100 or so. Ethereum actually looks a little bit better than Bitcoin, which is saying something. So what we have here forming potentially, again, that's a key word, is a drop base rally. Now, the reason I say that is because we have price come down, right? So it came down, broke through that level of demand and support, just like Bitcoin and just like that altcoin chart that we showed. However, prices closed up, it pushed back up in that level of 2,200. So this level of 2,200 is immediately respected and it is still valid. But Crypto Hotep, the price came down and broke through there. True, it did, but it hasn't traded. Again, remember, it hasn't traded 2 to 3 candles below it. It actually came back up into it, meaning that there's still buyers in this area. This area is still of interest. So I just drew this as a potential move for price. But for this to happen, we need to see buyers, meaning that we would need to see green candles form in this level. This 2200 level, we got to see some buyers in this 2200 for this move to even happen or have legs. Okay? So as of right now, this is just a guesstimate. This is just a guess because nobody knows what's going to happen in the markets. But this could happen where you have a drop basing of price and then a rally. You could see this here at this level. So, but we will wait and see, guys. We will wait and see. Let's look at some of our trades. The trades that we are still in, I have not sold anything still, even though my altcoin bag is looking pretty bleak right now. So again, all these green tags, these are my buys. And what I would do differently that I do now is I only place my buys at strategic levels in ranges. So for instance, if I were to redo this trade here, what I would do is I'd probably, if I wanted to buy in this level, I'd probably only do one buy. And then I would have to see price come out of this level and also be an oversold status on slow stochastic. You got to have that for me as well. So for instance, what I could buy is, which I did do, is I bought this level. So instead, the initial plan here was I could bought, let's say for instance, I could have bought this candle and then I would have just waited, right? And essentially, I may have sold off this candle if I'm redoing this trade right now, right? Shoulda, woulda, coulda type of thing. But I didn't. So, because again, we were still kind of tweaking some of the trading style here. So instead, we're holding, and this was a demand level. So now this trade would have been, or this buy would have been validated because this is a demand level. Price came up, closed above that level. We're nearing extreme oversold status. I'm good with that. So I would have bought that. I would have bought this candle, so that would have been only two buys. And then this candle was validated as well at 0.54. So instead of having all these little bitty candles, we would just had maybe 4 buys. And that's what I would have done differently. Currently, Aerodrome is still respecting the 40 cents. Looks like 39, 40 cents level here. And it is still respecting it because it is still attached to this level right here. It hasn't cleared it fully. It's still attached to it. Okay. Again, I'm just waiting currently. I'm not doing anything with Aerodrome. I'm really not doing a lot with a lot of these coins. I'm not really doing anything with a lot of these coins here. Unfortunately, C looks pretty bad here. And currently, and this is what I mean, currently, if we look here, we have price, and I'll zoom in just so we can see here. So we have price that still was respecting 10 cents. However, price dropped below that, and it's currently trading below that. I'm still going to wait, though, before I take this level off. I'm going to wait before I take this level off because I want to see it fully close below 10 cents without it touching it. Okay, so I'm going to wait to take that off. But you may have a supply level here at 12 cents right here. Okay, and again, if I could have redone this trade, I would have done what I just said with Aerodrome as well. Let's go to Uniswap. Uniswap, right? So Uniswap is in a very similar case. We're at 2023 lows for Uniswap. Price is still respecting it, still attached to the $4 level. Currently, I'm speaking about the candle, so it's still connected currently to that candle. We have a new supply level resistance at $6.22, and then we have a supply level at $10.94. So we have a couple levels to get through here for Uniswap. What am I doing? Again, I'm just waiting. Most of my trades, or most of my trading process, is waiting. We're waiting for level of we're waiting for buyers to step in, show their face, so we can then follow them and follow those footprints and start buying ourselves. Okay, graph. I took that demand support level off for graph. We do have, this is a legitimate supply level, and we can draw that right here. Okay, this is a supply level right there. Look here, yep. So about 4 cents, that is a supply level, a new one for graph. Okay, unfortunately, right? We don't like seeing all these supply levels because that's more stuff that we need to get through to the upside. But this is a supply level. We have 1, 2, 3 bearish candles after a bullish candle right here. So, and very similar. I'm not doing anything, just waiting. Near actually probably looks the best out of any of these right now. So with near, current price is at $1. It's around $1. Technically it's $1.04, but it's at the dollar level. To me, that's a very, very psychological level for near. It has broken down past this demand level, so I'm going to take this off because it doesn't respect it anymore, and we're going to draw a new supply level. So let's switch to the line chart. New supply level. It looks like it stands out right here. Let's make sure. And yes, it does. So this is a good supply level here. Why is it? Because we have 1, 2, 3 bearish candles after a bullish doji candle right here. So that new supply level is at $1.72. Call it $1.75 for psychological purposes there. So here is that new level. I do have some hopium for near at this level, and I will add some more here. But you can see price came through, sliced through the dollar level, but then popped back up above it. So we're not buying anything as of right now, but next week could look promising for near. Okay. And last but not least, let's show the piece de resistance, the portfolio here. So currently 1 month return, and again, this is unrealized and realized gains, is negative 24.3%. 3 month is a negative 42%, and then 6 month is a negative 51.67%. What does the year look? Oh, year still positive 45%. So again, guys, the reason I show these is to show you that with my trading, your drawdowns could be very massive, right? But if you can stomach those drawdowns, because crypto moves fast, I'm legit willing to ride a drawdown of 80% plus, just because I know the reversal is so great, and I've done my research on these coins, and the development for these coins is still going on. The ecosystem is still there for these coins, right? Now, if you're just putting money into anything, then you're gambling. And, you know, we say with gamblers in crypto, they don't bode well. So my biggest position still to this day is still USD, and we are throwing money, we're putting money, stacking USD in USDC, earning about 3.5% on Coinbase, and we're just waiting. That's all we're doing. Okay, Aerodrome, we're down over 57% on Aerodrome. Uniswap, we're down over 52% on Uniswap. C, we're down over 62%. Near, we're down over 62%, and then Graft, we are down over whopping 71%. Worst position in my portfolio here, guys. But again, I show it to kind of to tell you guys it's not all green candles. If any of your traders or investors tell you that, they are 100% wrong, and you should run away from them. You're going to have these months, you're going to have these drawdowns throughout the year where it's like it's just the worst thing possible. But what I found, because I've been doing this since 2020, is if you're willing to stomach these out and you've done the research on the coins, you should be grateful when you do have a discount that you can buy these coins at. And then also just to wait, right? Most of the time cures all, especially with crypto, especially if you, again, did the research on your coins and they have a longevity already in crypto, that helps as well. So again, I haven't sold anything. I'm not selling anything. and we're stacking more USDC to buy more of these coins as well when we see